Hello, YouTube universe. My name is Graham. Some of you may know me as JaneClyde92. I work closely along with Pfeiffer on Pfeiffer's Realism mod, and I thought now would be a good time to make some tutorials on how to mod FIFA. Now, I'm going to be making several videos. This is just going to be episode 1, and episode 1 is going to go over how to create your own custom team that you can play as in FIFA. This tutorial should also apply to FIFA 20. I will let you know if there are any differences, but without further ado, I'm going to get right into it. To start out, you need to have a concept. Usually this concept will consist of first your team colors, your team logo, etc, etc. I am going to go over an example that I had made for a friend of mine who has had some of the parts and pieces of this mod commissioned by someone else, and I kind of just helped him put it together. So first thing you want to do is to develop a logo for your team, and with that I'm going to show you this logo here. This is the logo for my friend's team. It's St. Louis Football Club, and you can make your logo whatever color you want, however way you want, but this is a crest that he made for his team. It's important to know that in FIFA there are 4 different sizes for your logo, and also you can make a dark and a light version, and you'll see what I mean here in a minute. But very first thing is, after you make your logo, you need to make it in 4 different pixel sizes. So what we have here is the 4 different pixel sizes. We have a 16 by 16, a 32 by 32, a 50 by 50, and a 256 by 256. So once you get those up and made, first thing you need to do is to open up FIFA Editor tool. So FIFA Editor tool is what we use to edit FIFA 21. If you want to edit FIFA 20, you open up a tool called Frosty. It's called Frosty Editor to edit FIFA 20. But the steps are going to look exactly the same. Everything that we do here is going to be pretty much the same, just looks barely different. Just the UI, the way that the software looks is just slightly different. So the crests, well, just back up a little bit. I already started a project. This is an example that I've already completed. So to make it a little bit simpler for everyone involved, they can easily search and find the things that they need. So first thing you need to do in order to get your new crests into the game is you need to go to FIFA Editor tool and go to the Legacy Explorer, and then navigate to Data, UI, Image Assets, and then there are 4 folders for your team crest. As you can see here, there's crest, there's a 16 by 16, a 32 by 32, and a 50 by 50. Those are the ones that we just went over a little bit earlier. Those are the different sizes. And the original just crest, that's the 256 by 256. Each one of these folders has a dark and a light in them. And what that means is that in the game, whenever you're hovering over the crest, it needs to know, do I use the dark or the light version? So whenever you're hovering over something, either your logo or whatever in the menus, it wants to use the light version because the highlighter is dark. And at least that's the way it is in FIFA 21. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing for FIFA 20. So what you want to do is the light version will look like this, and then the dark version is going to look like this. The dark version is filled in. The light version I have here is not filled in. So the dark needs to be with a white background, so that way it stands out. The light doesn't need to have a white background because it just blends in with the menus. And so what I've done here is that we imported the different sized crests into each of one of these folders here. And the way FIFA works, I have a little bit of background here, is that you can't just import a new team into FIFA. You have to pick a team and overwrite it. What my friend has asked for me to do here is that he wanted me to switch out the Tottenham Hotspur team with his new team, mainly because he really liked the new stadium that they had just built. So, from different website, there's a Google spreadsheet that has a list of all the different team IDs. You can also check on sofifa.com. Those are two different websites where you can find the team ID. And the team ID is important because that is right here under name. And what you're going to do is you're going to replace your new logo on top of the team ID that you want to replace. So for this case, Tottenham Hotspur is 18. So what I've done is replaced all of the 18s in these folders. So another thing that you could do to just double check, make sure you imported everything properly, is that the team crest, like it says crest 16, crest 32, crest 50, the sizes of the crests are not only just there, but they're also up here in the FIFA editor. So it says MIP 50 by 50. So that way you can double check, just be like, look, here's the 50 by 50, I open it up, and then here's also 50 by 50. It's also it's kind of blurry because it's trying to resize the image to this view here, and it's going to be really blurry because it's such a small pixel size. This is what the 16 by 16 looks like, so that's totally normal. The one that looks the best is the 256 by 256 pixel sized. So now that we've got our team crest in, the next thing you need to do is you need to create your own kits. Now, the easiest and most simplest way to create your own team crest or team kit is to go into FIFA kitcreator.com. So we go to FIFA-kitcreator.com, and what this program does is it allows you to make your own kit very easily, very quickly. I'm not going to get too much detail into this because they have their own tutorials on YouTube that I could put in the description below, just so that way you can follow along and know how to make your own kits. But I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead from this, so that way you know what to do after you're done making your kit. So I'm gonna minimize that. Whenever you're done making your kit, you're going to export it, and it's going to save it as a zip file. You open up the zip files and you can save them into their own folder. And for this case, I've made this is the home kit that I made in Kit Creator, and this is the files that it gives me whenever I'm done. Also, I have an additional extra file here. This is the preview of the kit, what it's going to look like all together, which you can also export. So first things first, it's going to give you a blank picture here. This is a 256 by 256. I'll get into that later, and what that is and what it does. It's going to give you a COAF file. It's going to give you a color file and a normal file. And new to FIFA 21, it's going to give you a TAA file. There's going to be 4 different files per kit portion, I guess you would say. So this is the shirt, these are the shorts right here, and then it gives you the socks, and they're named this way, so that way it's pretty simple. And then it also gives you the mini kit, and I'm gonna show you guys where these go and how they go together inside FIFA coming up next. But before I do that, if your team's gonna have an away jersey, so don't forget to make not only a home jersey, but you need to make an away jersey. If your team has a third jersey, like Spurs do, they have a third, you can make a third jersey. And then don't forget to make a goalkeeper jersey. So in all, there should be 3 or 4 jerseys by the time you're done making them all in FIFA Kit Creator. So moving on into the project here that we have for the Create a Club. The kits are going to be located in the following file path. Go to content character kit -0, because that's where the Tottenham Hotspur ID 18 is located. If your team is a different ID, go to the folder that your ID would be in. This one's kit 0 because this is in the 100s, or the, I think, 1000s. But there's other folders in here that where your ID might be in. It just depends on what is it, 1,000, is it 2,000, is it 3,000? I don't know what your ID is going to be, but since this is just 18, it's under the 0. So when you open up Tottenham Hotspur's kits, here's the folders for each of their jersey types that we just talked about. So there's the away, the goalie, the home, and the third. That's how it's alphabetical. That's the order that it's in, just so you know. Another thing is that home is always going to be home-0, away is away-1, goalie is goalie-2, and third is third-3. So that's another way that you can easily find them, is just search away-1 or whatever, and in the search bar up here, and it'll pull it up really quickly. So the very first thing that, or not the very first thing, but the next thing that we need to do is to import the blank file that you saw earlier. And what this does is it makes these textures just blank. See how it's just blank? There's nothing here. And that's because these are hotspot images. And what they'll do is they'll override whatever is on the main kit texture. And these hotspot textures is what I'm going to call them. There are 4 of them. There's the brand jersey, brand shorts, crest jersey, and crest shorts. So this is like your Nike or your Adidas or your whatever. That's the brand. And then the crest is your team crest. And they do this, FIFA does this because they can get sizes and shapes a lot better and a lot less distorted this way, rather than if it's just on just the jersey texture or the shorts texture, it may appear slightly distorted, depending on how your shirt ends up being. So we import these, and the way to do that, the easiest way, is just to right click, import, and then navigate there to the right spot here. So what we would do is we would go to the home, because, or actually, yeah, we're in the home, and then just double click on the blank. You would double click on every one of these, the first 4 that I showed you earlier. So then after you import the blanks, then you go into the next group of texture assets here. So we have texture asset is the file type. We have the COF, the color, the normal, and the TAA. So first thing is the COF. And the important thing to know about the COF is the COF decides the shininess of your jersey. And there is a like an order of magnitude of shininess depending on the color that appears on the texture. Dark brown is just no shininess whatsoever, and then it goes from dark brown to like orange to green to pink to purple, and I think purple is the shiniest. It looks like almost plastic whenever you use purple in the game. So that's what the co-op is for. The next file is the color file, and this is like the main thing that decides in with the game, you know, put a yellow strip here, put white here, and put the logo there, whatever. So in this case, this is from an export from FIFA Kit Creator, and it automatically made the jersey here. And just really quickly, I'm going to show you a little bit about, just for your information. Down here is the front of the jersey, which is kind of obvious. Up here is the back of the jersey. This is the shoulders, and then this is the short sleeve, and this is the long sleeve right here and right here. And right here and right here is if you did short sleeve with an undershirt on. This is the undershirt. And then right here in the bottom left is the neck, the what do you call that, collar, like if you had a long necked collar right here. Down here is the armband, so your captain armband. This is what it would look like. I have just the default Premier League captain armband. And then to the bottom left and the bottom right is nothing. It doesn't do, there's nothing that it uses here and here. So next is the normal. The normal texture asset defines where the wrinkles show up, where seams show up, that sort of thing. So from the FIFA Kit Creator export, it goes along all those seams, as you can see here. Take a drink. It also shows the collar and the wrinkles in the collar all around. It just adds another level of definition to this jersey. And then last but not least is the TAA file. And what this does is it adds shadows to the texture. And this is a new file to FIFA 21. You're not going to have this in FIFA 20. So if you try to mod FIFA 20 and you have this TAA file but nowhere to put it because it doesn't exist, just skip it. But for FIFA 21, they introduced ray tracing and several other shadow techniques that FIFA 21 uses to make shadows on the field. And the different colors here, this really, it looks like it's red, which I'm not colorblind, it is red, but in reality, like whenever you look at it at the file, this is really what it looks like. It's a gray scale shirt. And so the way this works is that the lighter colors are more shadowy and the darker color is less shadowy. And we do this for the logos because we don't want extra shadow showing on the logos because they're supposed to be slightly reflective. But the texture wise, like the not as in the texture of like the image file, but as in like the texture of the jersey itself. Different areas need to be a little bit more shadowy, a little bit more darker, just because it's a different material than the rest. So that's what the TAA file is. So for each one of these, you just right click, import, like how we did earlier. Same thing goes for the shorts, same thing goes for the socks. You may see some other files in here, well, I know you will. You'll see hotspot files in here. You'll see like blueprint or whatever these are, BRT blueprint files. Just skip those for now. And same thing with the weave, jersey weave, shorts weave, socks. It's just the way that the texture of the material of the shirt shows up. Not really very easily modifiable. Especially like if you're doing something in FIFA Kit Creator, it doesn't have that information. For this specific jersey, I'm not going to be editing the hotspots just because it's a very generic, simplistic design. But sometimes you may want to edit the size of the number or whatever, and that's where you would go into editing the hotspots. So I'll just open one up right now really quickly, and I'll show you what that looks like here. And I'll kind of explain it a little as we go along. So I open up the hotspot file, and every one of these numbers under hotspots defines a different group of vectors. This is what they really are. And so I just opened up a few of them. I'm not going to go through all of them, but here's some of them. This one's this is jersey team. So that means that this is the crest on the jersey. And there's these bounds here. There's an X, a Y, a Z, and a W. What these are different. Say, imagine a grid is placed on top of this jersey, and every one of these is a different point on a square. So imagine like a square that is the size of your crest, which is not going to matter in this case because we just already has the crest on there. But imagine if you didn't go through all this, and you want to change the crest to be a different size, or move to the other side of the jersey or whatever, you can do that here. And the X is the left boundary, the left of the square. So like here's the square, it's the left side. The Y is the top line, the Z is the right, and the W is the bottom line. And what every one of these numbers represents is a spot on the grid, on an XY grid. And so this is the X boundary line is in position 0.538, and then the other side of the square is in position 0.584. And the reason why it's like this is that it's a 0 to 1 scale. It's not like 1 to 100, it's 0 to 1 is the way that their grid is. And then same thing goes for the Y. So the Y is, the way it works is it goes from 0 at the top and then 1 at the bottom. And so this is position Y is the top part of your square, which is at 0.539 or 0.593, and then the bottom portion of the square is at 0.637. And so that's how you could just modify, go in there and change the numbers. I'm not going to do it right now, but you could go in here, change the numbers, and that's where your new position of your square is going to be. So that's how you can edit hotspots. Just edit it in here, and whenever you're done, make sure that you save, and it'll save so go file, save, and it'll save those changes to your hotspot that you just done. Anyway, so that is how you import the textures from FIFA Kit Creator into FIFA Editor. The next thing that we need to do is to import the mini kit from FIFA Kit Creator. And that, let me close all the tabs really quick here so that way clean it up a little. So the mini kit is what you see whenever you're on Team Select, or you're on Team Hub, or whatever it is, whenever you're like adjusting what players wear, what goalkeeper you're using, stuff like that. And in order to view that specific file, you go into the Legacy Explorer up here. You go to Data, UI, Image, Assets, and then go down to Kits. And every single kit in the game is going to be in this folder. So you're just going to have to search the ID of your team in order to get there quickly. So I would search _18 to get there fast. Anyway, so J0-18, that's the home. Remember how I talked about earlier, it was important to know that 0 is home, 1 is away, 2 is goalkeeper, and 3 is third kit. So if I double click on J0-_18, this is what the mini kit looks like. And from here, we would just import and then go to the jersey and import the mini kit right here. And that's it. You don't have to do anything else. Just go on to the next one, go on to the next one, go on to the next one, import them, and you're good to go. That's all you have to do. So, next thing we can do for our custom team is make banners and flags. You'll see in a minute, but the flags, there's going to be 4 flags that you can make, 4 different ones, and there's going to be 1 banner texture that you can make for your team. And just to know the sizes ahead of time, the sizes is 512 by 256. That's the pixel sizes of your flag. And then the banner is going to be 1024 by 1024. That's the pixel sizes. And for reference, just so you know, it doesn't have to look fancy. It doesn't have to be. It's just like for this flag, it's just a crest with some numbers on it. Pretty simple. You don't have to have like wrinkles in it or anything for the flags. For the banners, though, it is important to have the wrinkles and stuff on there, and that's because it just takes the way that this file is and doesn't add anything to it. It doesn't have like wrinkles or normals or anything like that. It's just this texture, and so whatever is on here is the way it's going to look like whenever you go in game. The best way to be able to make the wrinkles show up is that there is a blank file in the files in the FIFA editor. There's one of the banners is just a blank white version of this with all the different wrinkles, and also on there it's pretty easy to see where your banners need to go. If you noticed, all of the different, there's like a bunch of different sizes on here, and it's all in one texture, and they're just kind of like, you know, what looks like in random places, but I can tell you it's not. So the reason why it is because there's one big like banner like this in the game. There's like a couple square ones, and then there's going to be some rectangle ones, and there's like a long rectangle one, and there's the really long rectangular ones like right here and right here, and then there's like the small rectangular ones, and they all will show up randomly throughout the stadium. So what you could do is just make something cool like this in Photoshop or whatever photo editor that you have, and you will use the blank banner, just a white banner template that you can easily find. It's in the FIFA editor tool. Just search through the banners. One of them's just going to be, well, not just one, but there's going to be several of them that are just blank white ones, and those are because those are assigned to teams that aren't really teams in FIFA. So like foot, like FUT teams or pro club teams or whatever, some of them don't actually have banners. It's just a white banner. So you could use those as the template, and then whenever you go to make your other layers for every one of these, just make sure you set the layer to as an overlay, so that way you can see the little wrinkles and the flags and such. So where you go to import these is under Data Explorer. Scroll or let me show only modified. There we go. So in the Data Explorer section, there go to Content, Worlds, and then there's going to be one for the banner and one for the flag, the folder. And then they both have there's textures, and then banner-18, flag-18. So since 18 is the ID of the team that we're doing, you just overwrite it. Just right-click, import the texture, and then go to here, right-click, import the texture of the flags for every one of them. And that's it. That's all you have to do for the flags and the banners. Right. So there's two things left that we have to do in order to make this Create Club totally ready to go and ready to rock. First thing that we need to do is go into Legacy Explorer, go to Data and LOC. LOC is the local files or local databases. And what that means, it's just the different languages, all the different language databases with a whole bunch of text strings in them that you can edit the text strings to tell it like what you're doing. Like you can change any text string anywhere inside the game. So for this situation, for this case, what we wanted to do is to change Tottenham Hotspur to the name of our new team that we are making. First thing we need to do is we need to find the team ID in these text strings. And so there are two databases, there's two tables here. So there's language strings 1 and language strings 2. This is new to FIFA 21 because in FIFA 21 they added some new text strings, so that way the original text string database got so long that it would crash, and so they had to separate it into two different tables, so that way it's not too long. So you may have to search in both places if you don't first find what you're looking for. Team name underscore Abrevla 7 underscore 18 was the first one that I found in the search here. And what this is the abbreviation with 7 characters for team ID 18. And so your name here needs to be less than 7 characters. And so the for this team, it's going to be called Inter St. Louis FC. So the team name, like the name, is Inter, but then the location is St. Louis, and then like the club, like whatever is FC Football Club. So what we'll do is, moving forward here, whenever I do the search, I'm going to type in team name ABBR and then 7 for the first one, and then underscore 18, which it's not going to find because I'm not in the right column. So I'm going to hit find. Well, okay, it's going to be like that, isn't it? I'm going to have to it's faster. It only took me 4 searches. Eventually I got there. So this is the source text column. So this is the string ID column. So the way this works is that every text inside FIFA has a code that it uses, and that's what this is. And then this is the actual text in the game. And then there's this thing called a hash ID, which is just some sort of indexing thing that you have to have in order for the game to work properly. Don't touch the hash ID, don't touch string ID, or the game will crash. Just touch source text. So in here, I think it said Spurs. We changed that to Inter for the team that we're doing right now. So I searched 7. The other things to search is a 3. So I need to find the right one for our team. Maybe. Here it is. Okay, so eventually found it. It's team name underscore abbreviation 3 underscore 18. So this is the 3-character source text string. And for this case, we're going to do STL for St. Louis. Now, the other important sizes that we need to know of is 10 and 15. So I'll get to, once I find the 10 one, I will show you what that looks like. Okay, finally found it. Again, it's not just quick. You have to, especially with it being 18 and not like 1,000 or something, because that's only 2 characters, and sometimes there's a 1800 ID or 102 or something like that. So anyway, in this case we did this is team name underscore abbreviation 10 underscore 18, which is 10 characters. In this case we could spell out St. Louis, and that's the location of our team. You could spell out if you were Salzburg, you would put Salzburg or something, or RB Salzburg or whatever. This is not the full team name. The next one that we're going to be searching, which is abbreviation 15, is going to be the full team name. And I think it's not limited to 15 characters. It's just 15 plus. It's like the big one. So that's the last and final thing that we'll search here for now. Not gonna find it because I'm not in the right column again. Found it. In this case, we typed in St. Louis in INTR dot. So Inter, St. Louis Inter, short for St. Louis International. I think, like I was saying earlier, I think you could type in the full team name here, usually. But I think the final one, I think it's just team name underscore 18. That's where you put the actual full team name. Yeah. Okay, so I found team name underscore 18, and this is the last thing that we'll search for in this database that we added. And this is where you put the full team name. And this is what the team name that usually shows up in like the standings, or the sometimes it shows up in the news articles or whatever. It's not very common usually, but you could put it in here, so we put it in here. So the full team name that we're doing is St. Louis International FC. So that you just type in here what that is, and when you're done making all those 5 changes that I just went over, you hit save up here in the top left, and then that is going to make all the changes to those team name strings. So, without further ado, we're going to move on to the last step of the process, and then we're going to launch the game with the mod, and hopefully it'll work. So, last thing that we're going to do is we're going to go into data, and then the DB file, and then go to FIFA_NG_DB. And what this is the main database file for all of FIFA. And it's very important to not go in and start messing with all kinds of things, because there's certain things that we need to change in this database. And it's all going to be based around team colors. And so what we need to do is go to teams. No, not teams. I'm sorry. What we need to do is we need to go to team kit, or team kits, which is right here. Now, this table is kind of not organized at all, and that's just because that's how the game sees this table. It's kind of all jumbled around. But what's important to know is to find the row that our team is in. So first thing we need to do before we get into the nitty-gritty is to find the team ID column, which I think for this case it's closer to the end. Okay, so in this database, it's called, or this table specifically, Team Kits table, it's called Team Tech ID. That's the team ID, and I think the reason why it's different in this case is because every team's gonna have multiple. It's not a unique value. So like, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 number ones, 1, 2, 3, 4 number twos. There's like 4 number twos. Is because every one of these is for different kits. There's going to be, like I said before, there's a home, away, a goalkeeper, and a third kit. This table should be organized in that order: home, away, goalkeeper, third. But the best way to find out is the here it is. So scroll all the way over to the left. Team kit type tech ID. So this is what version of the kit it is. So home, away, goalkeeper, third. So yeah, it's in that order. So what we need to do first is go back to Team Tech ID. Right here. And what we need to do is we need to find 18. Did find exactly that way. It jumps right to it. Anyway, so for this case, since we're changing Spurs is Team Tech ID 18, or Team ID 18, and it's row 56, 57, 58, and 59. And it's in the order of home, away, goalkeeper, third. So, the reason why we're here is to change the team kit color, like the color that shows up on the scoreboards and the little mini map with the little dots that are moving around. This is where you find that information. Also in here is what color the numbers are, what color the name is, that sort of thing. So what I'm going to show you is the locations of all these things, And what the numbers mean, I'm not going to actually change them though, but you'll see. So as I'm just scrolling across here, the first column that comes to my mind here is shorts number color prime G. What that means is it's the shorts number color, the primary number color. So every number color has three colors. There's the primary color, the secondary color, and the tertiary color. And the main color is usually the most, like the main portion of the number. The secondary is usually the outline, and the tertiary is usually the crest that's inside the number, or whatever cool design that's inside the number. Like for instance, the Portugal has that cool like camo almost looking design that's inside the number. That would be the tertiary color. And there's going to be 3 columns for every color number portion. So what I mean is, this is shorts number color primary G. G is important because that's the G in RBG. So every color that you would choose on a color wheel has an RBG number. So red, blue, green. In this case, this is the green number in the red, blue, green for the shorts number color primary. So this is where that information would go. Whenever I'm making color selections, usually what I'll do is I'll make like a notepad and just type in the RBG numbers for my primary, for my secondary, and for my tertiary. And what I'll do is I'll do jersey primary, jersey secondary, jersey tertiary, and then shorts primary, shorts secondary, shorts tertiary. And then I have an easy way of just copying and it's just copying and pasting in those numbers into this system here. That makes it a little bit simpler. That way I don't have to try and figure out what I want, what color exactly that I want. I could just think about like, alright, the pants are white, so I need to put a color for the main primary one that's not white. So in this case I think it's gold. So what I would do is I would do gold, and then as the main color, and then as like the outline would be like a navy blue or something. So I would just grab the gold RBG numbers. So I would go to the gold, then I would look for the G number and put it in here. It's complicated, but that's how you do it. So the next thing in this list here, as I'm going from left to right in the columns, is team color secondary B. So this is the secondary color of the team. Like whenever you go to score, like a scoreboard, whenever you're in the game, there's going to be 2 colors. There's like a color on the top and a color on the bottom. This would be the color on the bottom. So this is the blue value of the secondary color. I'm just going to go through all of these and pick out or point out all the ones that are important to know. So the next one would be jersey number color secondary red. So this is the number on the back of your jersey, the secondary color, so the outline, and this is the red value. And the next column over is the jersey number color primary red. So this is the number color, the main portion of the number, and this is the red value for that. Keep going over, jersey number color primary G. Keep sliding over, shorts number color secondary B, which is the blue. Team color primary G, that's the green value for the primary color of the team. Shorts number color tertiary B, so that's the out the cool funky pattern or whatever, but the blue value. Keep scrolling over, keep pointing out the important ones. Shorts number color primary red, team color tertiary B, which is blue. Jersey number color tertiary green, shorts number color primary blue. Keep going over. Jersey number color tertiary red is important. Jersey number color primary blue. Team color primary red. Jersey name color green. Keep scrolling. Team color secondary green. Shorts number color secondary green. Team color tertiary red. Jersey number color secondary green. Keep going. Shorts number color tertiary red. Team color secondary red. Oh, this was also important. Jersey collar geometry type. This is the shape of the collar inside your whenever you go in Team Kit Creator or FIFA Kit Creator, sorry. Whenever you go in a FIFA Kit Creator, you pick a jersey collar shape, and every one of those has an ID next to them. For this case, it's going to be 22. So make sure you change that on here too. Alright, back to changing the colors. Your shorts number color tertiary green, jersey name color red, team color primary blue, jersey number color secondary blue, jersey name color blue, jersey number color tertiary B, blue, team color tertiary green, and shorts number color secondary red. And that's it. That's all the ones that we can change. So you change the home, the away, the third, and the goalkeeper. I'm sorry, I said that back. You change the home, the away, the goalkeeper, and the third kit. And once you're done with that, after you change all the number colors, you change the collar geometry type for all of them, or if you have to. Then once you're done with that, you hit save, and then it's going to save the changes that you made to this database. And that's it. That's all you have to do in the editor. After that, you can either test your project and to see if it worked, or you can save it as a mod and import it into Mod Manager and use it with all the other mods that you have. So for this case, I'm going to launch it inside the editor, mainly because if I launch it with Pfeiffer's mod after I made those database changes, it's gonna mess with Pfeiffer's mod because I made these database changes without his mod database. So I just made these database changes to default FIFA. So if I try to use Pfeiffer's mod with this one, it's not going to work very well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to export this mod once you're done. So after you hit save, you save the project somewhere, and then you can go back to here and hit export to mod. What it's going to do is going to bring up this pop-up window here, and what you could do is you can type in the title of your team, or of your mod. I typed in the title of my team that I made. The author, this is Converse Football. This is the guy that my friend used to make his logo and stuff. You can do a custom category, or you can make your own category here. Version number, I'm on version 1.8 just because I've had to update it several times because FIFA is constantly updating. You can type in social links in here, your Twitter, your Instagram, your Patreon, and then you can put in images. So the first one on the left is the mod image, so this would be your logo or whatever, and then these over here are additional images that are going to show up in the description rather than showing up inside the main line of the mod. So whenever you click on the mod, these also will show up whenever you swap over to the description. And these are just like the exports that I did from the Team Kit Creator, the previews. So like in FIFA Kit Creator, not Team Kit Creator, wow. These are the previews from FIFA Kit Creator. You can screenshot those previews and save them as a PNG or whatever. Put them into here. And then you could put in the description. So I put in myself and kits made with FIFAKitCreator.com. Whenever you're done, just hit save. Saves it as a mod file anywhere on your computer, works, and you're done. I'm going to hit launch game with this mod so you can see the changes, and I'm going to probably just skip ahead in the video and once the FIFA loads, so I'll be right back. Alright, so I went into a classic match and kickoff, and the team shows up right here, St. Louis International. And whenever I go to click onto the team, I have the hits right here. This is what they look like. Home, away, alternate. You see the mini kit shows up nicely in the menus, and you can see the fine details in some of the kits. But yeah, everything seems to be working just fine. I'm gonna say thanks for everyone for joining on this tutorial. Subscribe if you liked it. Go ahead and follow me in some other videos that I'm going to be doing. Also on editing FIFA. Leave any comments if you have any questions, or you can ask me on the Pfeiffer Discord, Pfeiffer Realism on Discord. Always on there. Until next time, thank you.